Whiskey teaches something about waiting. After it's made, whiskey doesn't go straight into the bottle. By law and by craft, it has to age in oak barrels, sometimes a year or two, sometimes 10, 15, or even 20 years. Once the whiskey is in those barrels, they're stacked inside long wooden warehouses called rickhouses. Step into a rickhouse and it almost feels sacred. It's quiet, naturally lit, and rows of barrels are just resting. It's hot in the summer, cold in the winter, and damp with humidity. And it's heavy with the smell of oak and spirit. Here's that tension, though. Those barrels could be opened at any time. But if you break one open too soon, the whiskey you get is thin, sharp, unfinished. It's only by waiting that the whiskey becomes rich and complex and worth savoring. Because inside the barrel, something is happening. With every season, the whiskey breathes. In the heat, it expands deep into the wood. In the cold, it contracts back out, pulling with it color, flavor, character. The waiting isn't wasted. The waiting is where the transformation happens. And the same is true for us. We all face seasons of waiting. Times when we've done our part, but the results haven't come yet. Times when the only thing left to do is breathe and trust and let the process shape us. The whiskey in the barrel, well, that's us. The barrel, that's our situation. And the rickhouse, well, that's the season that we're living in. And it's in that waiting where depth is formed. So here's what's fascinating about the waiting that we just heard about in the opening. It isn't optional. By both tradition and law, whiskey has to age in oak barrels if it wants to be called a whiskey. Bourbon, for example, has to be aged in new charred oak. Scotch has its own standards, at least 3 years in oak. Oak barrels aren't just for storage, they're for transformation. Before adding the whiskey makers char the inside of the barrel with fire. That char caramelizes sugars inside the wood and leaves behind a layer of charcoal that acts like a filter, smoothing and refining the spirit, just like a charcoal water filter will do for drinking water. But the real magic happens in the breathing. You see, in the summer, the heat, the whiskey expands into the oak. And in winter, in the cold, the whiskey contracts back out, carrying with it flavor and sweetness, depth and spice. And without that breathing in and out, the whiskey would stay pale, sharp, and it would taste unfinished. And sometimes, even years in oak, the process still isn't done. The whiskey might be moved into a second barrel, like the one that once held port wine. And they do this for further refinement. That finishing doesn't erase what came before. It actually builds on it. It layers in something rare and unique. The waiting, even though it looks silent, is very much active. The barrel is working. The breathing is working. Welcome. I'm Steve Moscato, and this is Crafty Clarity, where we explore the tension between what you built and what you're built for. So have you ever been in that kind of season? You've done the work, you've made the move, you've prepared the best that you can, but now all that's left is waiting. Or maybe you're still waiting to start, waiting for the courage to move, for the green light, for something to shift. Either way, the silence can feel deafening. The delay can feel like failure or idling in place. And that's where the worries creep in, the stress creeps in. Did I mishear what I was supposed to do? Am I even capable of what I'm waiting for? What if I'm not enough when the opportunity comes? Stepping into significance is always new, risky, and vulnerable, but to live our mission and purpose, that's what it's going to take. The tension we're talking about today is the waiting itself. It might be waiting to start. It might be waiting for results. It might be waiting on clarity or healing, or maybe it's waiting on God's timing. Whatever form the waiting takes, it might feel empty. But like the whiskey breathing in the barrel, it's not. So my wife and I are actually in a season of waiting right now as a family. Earlier this year, my wife made the decision to leave her job of 29 years. It was on her own terms. She didn't get fired. But she knew that corporate America no longer aligned with her passion. What she really cares about is serving others, working with nonprofits, and volunteering her time to make a difference. Her desire for this alignment with her true self and what she knows she was created to be was growing stronger than the comfort of staying put. And so she stepped into this new season, not of immediate answers, but a season of waiting. The job market these past few months has been rough, and there are doubts that come with that. There are moments when it certainly would be easier for her to take another job and just get right back into it. But that's the essence of this tension. This is the whiskey in the barrel. You could end the waiting early by cracking open a barrel, but you'd end up with something short of its intended purpose. Or you can let the process breathe through the seasons, trusting that what comes out will be richer and truer. So we're living in this tension ourselves. We're breathing and we're trusting the process. We know that in order for her to find her next opportunity that aligns with what she was created to be, will take time. It'll take persistence and selectivity. But we also know that it'll be worth the wait for that alignment with her purpose. I found that the same framework that I use with my clients who are navigating organizational change, strategic realignment, or leadership challenges also works here in this moment. Whether it's a leader, a team, or even a family, the principles are the same. Waiting is never wasted. It's formative. But it's how we posture ourselves in the waiting that will make all the difference. So, how does waiting move us towards significance? Well, waiting isn't just about surviving the pause. It's about what's being shaped while we wait. Just like the whiskey breathes with the seasons, we can choose how we posture ourselves. So here are 4 postures that can make a huge difference. The first is patience. Resist the urge to crack the barrel open too soon. Rushing won't give you more. It'll simply give you something that's unfinished. The patience allows depth to form, and patience isn't passive. It's trusting that the time that's being invested is actually doing the work you can't see. In this posture, ask yourself, where am I tempted to force something to happen before it's time? What would it look like to trust that the waiting is doing the work, even if I can't see it yet? The second posture is presence. Be in the season. Not just wishing it away, but be present. Notice what is being revealed to you right now. The relationships, the lessons, or other truths you might miss if you only look to the future. Presence means asking, what is the gift of this moment, instead of just racing past it. In this posture, ask yourself, what in this season am I being shown that I might miss if I only focus on what's next? Who or what needs my full attention right now, even as I wait? The third posture is perspective. From the outside, that barrel looks like it's just sitting there, doing nothing. But there's transformation happening inside. Perspective shifts the waiting from wasted time to formative time, and reminds us that the silence doesn't mean absence, and that unseen growth is still growth. In this posture, ask yourself, how might this waiting be shaping me rather than stalling me? What unseen transformation could be happening below the surface that I can't see? And the fourth posture is preparation. Use the waiting to get ready for what's next. Strengthen your skills, clarify your vision, align with your mission. Then when the time comes, you're not scrambling, you're ready. Preparation is what turns opportunity into significance when that door finally opens. So ask, what can I do right now to align myself with the opportunity I'm hoping for? When the waiting ends, what do I want to be ready to step into? So here's the important part. You don't have to choose one posture and stay there. Sometimes you'll need patience and preparation. Other times, presence will ground you while perspective reframes your thinking. These postures are not boxes to live in. They're more like the rhythms you can breathe in the different seasons. So if you're in a season of waiting, or this resonates with you, try this one simple step this week. Write down one thing that you're waiting for right now. Then ask yourself, which posture do I need most right now? Patience, presence, perspective, or preparation? Which reflection question under that posture speaks most to where you are right now? Remember, you may find yourself moving between the postures, and that's not failure, and you're not doing it wrong. That's breathing in the waiting, just like the whiskey in the barrel. The goal is not to shorten the waiting. It's to let the waiting prepare you for the life and the work that you were built for. The waiting won't waste you. It prepares you. It breathes depth and character into who you're becoming. So when the time finally comes, you're not just ready to step forward, you're ready to step into significance. In whiskey tasting, you jot down what stood out when you taste a new whiskey, the flavors, the impressions, the things you want to remember. So here are my tasting notes for today. Waiting isn't wasted. It's part of the refining. Seasons matter, and they're critical to the process. Each one draws out something different in us. The postures of waiting, patience, presence, perspective, and preparation help us breathe with the season. And the waiting prepares you for significance. This is Crafted Clarity, where we distill what matters and explore the tension between what we built and what we're built for, and to help you navigate the path towards significance. Remember, clarity isn't found, it's crafted. Thanks for listening to Crafted Clarity. If you're a leader wrestling with the tension between success and significance, or you're trying to align your work with a deeper calling, I'd love to connect with you. If your organization is facing questions about strategy, whether it's alignment, ROI, or building confidence in your team, this is the work we do every day at iBrand. And if you walk this journey yourself, or maybe you're right in the middle of it, I'd love to hear your story and maybe even share it here on the podcast. You can find me at craftedclarity.net.